All right, here we are making creme brulees. This is fairly easy. This is only one of my first few times doing it. You're going to start with some vanilla beans here, heavy cream, eggs. You need nice little ramekins, a mixing bowl. You're also going to need sugar and some other stuff, but I'll show you later. Take your vanilla bean out. You could always use vanilla extract too if you can't find this, but a bean is better. Make a nice little cut down it, and then you're going to use the back of the knife, the non-sharp part, to just kind of scrape it all out. You're going to soak this in your cream, and that's what's really going to enrich that great vanilla flavor. Once you get that all out, get yourself 2 cups of heavy cream. This stuff is real heavy. As you can see, there's some nice little chunks in there. It's fine though, don't worry about that, it's cream. Pour yourself out 2 cups. Some people use 3. That'll make it a little less egg colored, but I think 2 is the sweet spot here. Put that into a pot to bring up to a simmer, and then throw in your vanilla pod and the vanilla that you scraped out from the insides. At this point, you're going to need to get 5 egg yolks only, so I like to throw them all into a bowl like this, and then just get in there with my hands and pull out the yolks. It helps to just kind of go in and grab them. Try to separate what you can, but once you pass them from hand to hand a few times, the yolks will separate nicely. If you get those little tails like that, that's fine. And then just separate all 5. That one broke on me, but that may happen. Just make sure you get that amount of yolks. You're going to need half a cup of sugar now. And while you're doing that, just make sure you go and check in on your cream. You don't want to bring this to a boil. Just a bare simmer is all it needs. Make sure you're just mixing it around, getting that vanilla really developed. Then mix your egg yolks and your sugar together. You're going to mix the cream into this, but you need to make this into one homogeneous paste first. Some people use a whisk. I think a fork is easier. Do whatever you're comfortable with here. That's as much as you want to do for the cream there. That's barely bubbling. That's the sweet spot. Get it there. Keep it for about 5 minutes at that point, and then you're going to turn it off and let it cool down for about 15 minutes so when you pour into the egg, it doesn't cook them. There we go. It's been sitting for about 15 minutes, so we're going to come over here and add it into the egg mixture. I like to throw it through a sieve like this just to get out some of the big pieces of vanilla, but you will still have little black specks in there. Mix in a little bit first just in case it is still hot. That way you don't cook the eggs and you temper them a bit, and then you could start adding in the rest of it and making one big batch of it here. As you can see, some little specks are still getting through. It's totally fine. Doesn't affect the taste or anything. May not look the prettiest restaurant-wise, but it's still good to go. And there you go. That all is mixed together. Next, you need to go and grab whatever you use to boil water. I use a kettle. Throw that onto the stove. You're going to need boiling water to create a water bath to cook these in. You'll also need a dish like this to pour in the water and the ramekins. I like to add the water first. That way you're not trying to dodge around the ramekins. So pour that boiling water in. Add your ramekins in. Was looking a little low here, so I had just a splash more water. And then add the rest in. You want to have it sitting somewhere between a half and 3/4. That's perfect for me. And then just add in your mixture here. Very easy. You want to go about 3/4 of the way if there's no lip, and if there's a lip, bring it right about to that lip. Just give yourself room to add sugar on the top. That's all that matters. As you can see, some specks of vanilla made it through here, but totally fine. You're going to then take this very carefully and put it into an oven at around 300 degrees. Some people like to cook them at 325. I think lower is better, that way you don't overcook them, but in my case, I slightly undercooked these, which you'll see later, but still tasted great. Cook that for around 20 to 25 minutes. The main priority is you want to get the internal temperature right around 175 degrees. Check that with any item you have. This is just a meat thermometer that I kind of hover in the middle, perfectly sitting there at 175 degrees. Then I like to keep them in here, but I got to get the water out. So pull them out, dump the boiling water out, put the ramekins back in, and then throw that into your fridge. Overnight preferably, but if you don't have overnight, do 4 to 6 hours. You really want them to cool and set. And then there you go. That's how they look. As you can see here, it's perfect. The middle was a little soft, but when I do cook the sugar, I melt it a little bit, so you're going to see that shortly. But add your granulated sugar. Some people like sugar in the raw, but I don't particularly like that taste, and I find that sugar burns substantially easier. Swirl it around, and my little trick is start it in the broiler. Throw it in there for maybe 4 minutes, 5 minutes. That way you get the sugar kind of overall melted to start. Then hit it with your torch a little bit to aid the process. That way you're not relying all on the torch, because the torch is difficult to not burn your sugar. As you can see, it goes real quick, and then here we are about 5-7 minutes later. Pull that out. Those dark spots are totally fine. You see any areas that are undercooked, just hit it with the torch. If it smokes like that, you know you got a little too close, so just pull away. And then there we are. It's still kind of hot from sitting under the broiler, so throw that into your fridge, and then pull that out once it cools down and you're ready to go. Since it was under the broiler, it did melt a little bit underneath the sugar, which you're going to see here. So don't do that with yours, but it still tastes great. And give it that good old crack test with a spoon. There you go. You can hear it's beautiful and solid. You could do the sugar to anything you want to brulee, honestly. You could do that on a banana. But yeah, see, a little watery there. But this tasted great. Let me know if you guys make them, what you think, and I'll see you guys next time.